Hi guys, happy Witchy Wednesday. So, sunburnt as hell. This sucks. This just really sucks, so let's just get on with the video, right? Right. Kidding. So, all the stuff for the witch powder has come, and I will be making that on the full moon, and then the quartz crystal, and then the new serpent, or the snake vertebrae came, so this is how it should be, with quartz crystals all the way around to increase the serpentine flow. And it's amazing. It really is. I love it. It's empowering. It just makes you feel good. And yes. So, alright. Now, initiations within the cunning way, within traditional witchcraft. So, I don't know, what, part 13? Maybe? Possibly? Hopefully? Wow, what is my hair doing? I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing some funky stuff. Anyways, I don't care. So, alright, now initiations in the cunning way. So, it seems that in Cornwall and other areas, the traditional process of passing on the teachings of the cunning way from one practitioner to another occur via the family line by apprenticeship. Now, in rarer cases, via admittance to a small and secretive circle of associated, primarily solitary practitioners. So, yeah, it's really difficult for the solitary practitioner to find a hearth or a coven or a circle of traditional witches. So, where old craft and cunning lodges, hearths, and circles exist, etc., there are 3 or 4 main rites that mark progress upon the path, but only one is acknowledged to be an actual rite of initiation. So yeah, that's within a group. So the first rite of a novice will undergo after being closely observed for varying probationary periods in order to be admitted as a fellow is the rite of dedication. So each hearth will have its own rite for this, as Buka on Rose does, in which the novice will dedicate themselves to the path in the old one's name, and will swear an oath to keep the secrets of the circle and will be ceremonial linked or bound to a group in some way. So that's pretty interesting. It'd be nice it'd be really nice to find that kind of thing here. But obviously I need to move to Cornwall, which I keep Google Earthing Cornwall, and it's just gorgeous. It really is a gorgeous, oh my god. So, now the second is the actual rite of initiation as a peller, wise woman, or cunning man. So, in which a partial a passing or sharing of the power will occur. So this confers upon the crafter the status of a working practitioner that allows them to initiate others, and to found a hearth of their own within the family or cord clan. Which, yeah, that's very interesting. So if there were more practitioners of traditional Cornish craft around here, then that could be a possibility. But as far as right now, no. That was a very quick no. So the third rite is only taken into practice when an initiated crafter is to form a new circle, or when the presiding witch is to retire and transmit their position to their successor in a full passing of power. So, very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. I love it. So this rite confers upon the crafter the title of devil or maid, or in Gemma's words, Divels? I hope I said that right. So such gatherings are and always have been few and far between, and so apprenticeship to a lone practitioner was a more usual circumstance in which the ways are and still passed on. So here only 2 rites may be observed: the dedication, and when the training is complete, the actual initiation, after which the new cunning man or wise woman is sent off on their way to get on with it. I love the way she writes. It literally is amazing. So whilst each hearth has their own ways of carrying out rites of admittance and initiations, patterns exist, such as the concept of the cavern of initiation. For the very few hearths existing in Cornwall today, make a habit of visiting the fogus and sea caves for these occasions. So crossroads and churchyards are also the venues for certain rites. Now, in addition to the formal admittance and initiatory rites of the Peller Hearth, there are other informal initiation rites associated with certain places of power within the Cornish landscape, such as the traditions surrounding the Logan stones. So such rites often have themes of chthonic power, ancestral gnosis, and rebirth, and are conducted by the Peller whenever and as often as the desire arises. So within the old craft there exists guarded initiatory lines, passed down via circles or teacher and apprentice-like relationships. In the first edition of the book, Gemma did make mention of such line within Cornish witchcraft, that of the Croneck Dew, or Black Toad. The secret rites of the Croneck Dew Cornish initiatory line are similar in some aspects to the no longer secret Toadbone rites of the East Anglian craft. So, however, they do not involve the act of killing a toad. So all of that stuff everybody's ever heard about killing a toad, for the toad bone, for the rite of the toad, it's all symbolic. It's all symbolic. So, the acquisition of the physical remains of the night toad is by potent and animus occurrence. Knowledge of the rites are confirmed by an existing initiate. Now Gemma says confirmed rather than passed on, for candidates under guidance are ready to undergo the rites only when they have realized their true nature and inner purpose for themselves. So at which time the toad will appear. So that's, yes, you'll know. Basically, you'll know. The rites of the Croneck Dew are a lengthy and personally costly process during which the preserved black toad fetish is created and marks the possessor of this charm as a toad witch. So, conferring upon them the ability to influence the mind and deeper self of humans and animals. So, it's really interesting. And I'm currently reading The Black Toad, and it's amazing. Again, the first few paragraphs are just incredible. So I was like, wow, this is definitely what I want. Now, historically, many practitioners in Cornwall claim to be born into a family line of crafters or Peller. Whether true or just good business sense was behind these claims, we can only ponder. Now that gives me a reason to believe, that gives me witch blood, witch lines. We'll find out more here in a minute. So, it could be argued that the potential client would have more faith in a practitioner that thought belonged to an ancient bloodline of the wise. It seems to be accepted by many traditional crafters today that being born to a practitioner does not automatically result in cunning inclination. It is also, however, acknowledged that such inclination is born in certain folk, and that this arises in the right people regardless of who their parents might be. So it doesn't matter. Bloodlines do not matter. None of it does. Practitioners certainly do, though, very often tend to come from families where cunning, or those practices related to it, have been present, so sometimes at a number of generations back. And it really is. It is in my bloodline. So, I mean, we go all the way back to, the Romani witches. So the Romanian witches, Hungary, Italy. So, I mean, Vlad is in my tree, so, but that doesn't mean anything. Not a thing. So a bloodline of sorts is not strictly a continuous or unbroken one. Many working Pellers of Cornwall would claim blood descent from the Old Man of Curry, who, according to various versions of an old legend, rescued a stranded mermaid he had found close to Lizard Point. If you guys want to, you guys can look up all these places that I mentioned. Lizard Point on Google Earth. You can visit these sacred stone circles. It's just beautiful. You are literally... Oh god, I sat there for about an hour and 2 hours. I thought it was 5 minutes. I literally almost got lost in the landscape of Cornwall. It was so beautiful, even on Google Map. Alright, now whilst walking the sands in a daydreaming state, so for returning her to the sea, he was granted the powers to exorcise evil spirits, lift curses, to provide cures, and to tell the whereabouts of the loss of things lost or stolen. So these powers of the Peller would be passed to all of his line. Okay. So all of his line. Lizard Point and its surrounding coves have long held as an area of visionary and initiatory power by Cornish practitioners, and the powers of the spirit of the sea are conjured as a highly useful aid to the various magics. So the old man of Curry may be seen as the first of Peller blood, who brought the powers of the sea and the potent serpent force of that place to men, and to the true bloodline is the wisdom and power that enchants the blood, as it is passed from practitioner to practitioner via initiatory rites. So, within the modern traditional craft, though, it seems a contested issue whether or not the paths of the old craft can be trod entirely alone. It can. So, with no contract or association with other established practitioners from whom to receive guidance. So, Gemma does feel that it is entirely preferable to strive to make such contacts and associations essential if one seeks entry into an initiatory line. So, for the continuing of passing wisdom from one practitioner directly to another. So, has much in inherent power in itself. So it is entirely possible that traditionally some practitioners took up their ways entirely alone, drawing from established local knowledge regarding the charms and rites that heal, so avert evil and make their divinations, while it's making use of the old grimoires to provide knowledge of further rites and charms. So progress within the traditional craft can truly only ever be experiential immersion, all the better amongst established practitioners, but not at all an impossibility for those who whose initial contact can only be via books. In both cases, honest practice and dedication are required. So, where did I go? So the blood calling of the true crafter will lead them to draw wisdom from the land, for both by communion with the spirits of the ways and the sea of the blood, who have walked its very round before. So it is the wisdom and the way ever passed anew. So for the solitary dedicant, Gemma offers here a rite of dedication based upon a combining of parts of the rites of admission and of initiation employed within her own hearth, Ross and Buka. So tomorrow I will go over a rite of dedication to Buka and the Cunning Way, which is really, really incredible. It really is. So yeah, the passing on of knowledge, the keeping contacts from like Cornwall. I have a few people that I do know from Cornwall that I probably could get knowledge from, which is pretty interesting. But I don't know. I really want to find a place, or I want to find people that are doing this type of work, this type of traditional craft. It just seems more fulfilling now. A lot more fulfilling than before, literally. So, but alright guys, let's see. Yeah, switch powder is coming. Definitely. Can't wait to make it. It's going to be useful for a lot of things. I mean, a lot of different things. It's just whatever your intent is what the powder will do. It's some good stuff. So, but yes, and then all the necklaces got shipped out yesterday, and yeah. So yeah, all right. Yeah, that's it for today. I'm just way too hot. So, all right, guys, I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. What do you guys think about this whole thing? Everything about the initiatory processes within traditional craft. Any questions, comments, and opinions would be much appreciated. So, oh, I can't lift my shoulders. So, I love you all the way from Venus, all the way back down. There we go. Lots better. Shit, this hurts. So yes, I will see you all tomorrow. Everybody have a good Witchy Wednesday. I love you all, and be safe.